Hi, welcome back to the Positive Prepper. I know it's been a while since I've put a video out. That's the consequence of life happening, I guess. I do have a series of about 5 videos that I'm really super hoping I'm going to be able to put out one a day this next week. So let's cross our fingers that that is something that will happen. In my last video, I talked briefly about the Defense Production Act of 1950. And I'm going to touch really briefly on that today. But I really want the main focus of this video to be on sort of the haves and the have-nots. Okay? So let's start with the DPA of 1950. Basically, at the flip of a switch, hoarding, prepping, becomes illegal. Basically, things cannot be accumulated, especially if they're items that are considered to be scarce or in high demand. And if you do it when this act is activated, I guess, the fine can be up to $10,000 or 10 years in prison. So what the Defense Production Act basically says is that at any time the president can declare that this is activated, and people without a warrant, whether it's National Guard, local law enforcement, they can go door to door and they can take things like your food, your bottled water, electronics, and yes, that includes your cell phones, your landlines, your computers, your CBs, your ham radios, anything electronics that they deem as being scarce or being needed elsewhere for the good of other people, the common good. They can also take away your livestock, your animals. Actually, they can take away your entire farms. So Saskatchewan in Canada just came out with the same, very similar plan to this. I don't remember what the act was called, so I'll have to look that up. But it isn't just here in the United States. Now, remember in one of my other videos, I talked about how during Hurricane Katrina, they went door to door looking for excess food and water that they could share with other people who had stayed behind but didn't have the resources. This is more on a nationwide scale. So if some kind of a national emergency came up, they could say, okay, we're going to put this into action. They could have law enforcement, National Guard, FEMA, whoever it is, go door to door and without permission, without a warrant, come into your home and collect the things that they deem either scarce or in great need for the common good of other people. So you want to keep that in mind when you are doing your preps. Don't have them all in one place. Make sure they're kind of spread out, scattered in secured locations where they're not as easily accessible or easily visible. Okay, so that's what I wanted to say about that. The second part of this video, I don't know how many of you are aware, but Walmart has now joined the ranks of a social credit score company. So you remember back on the day when they had layaway, when you could, especially around Christmas time or a couple of months before Christmas, if you were a low to middle income family and you wanted to start putting Christmas gifts aside, you could put them in layaway, pick them out, physically put them in layaway, and then you would pay on them whatever you could afford each month and hopefully, of course, get them paid off before Christmas so then you could take them home. So they've done away with layaway completely. What they've done now is they joined up with a company called Affirm. So if you've ever had like a Kohl's credit card, a JCPenney credit card, that type of thing, this is basically what Walmart now has done in place of their layaway. So if your credit score is up to par, then you can buy now and pay later, and they put you on a monthly plan to pay this loan back on the goods that you purchased, with an interest rate at between 10 and 30%. Now, again, it's based on your social credit score. So low-income families who probably, especially through the last, what we're going on 2 years, have had a hard time paying their bills, probably don't have much of a credit score to begin with, and now they're not going to be able to lay away these, or buy now, pay later for these commodities that they want. My issue with this, if you can't afford a Kohl's card or a JCPenney card or a, I don't know, you name it, kind of place, then you're not going to go to those places, right? Most low-income families go to Walmart or the places that they can afford to get clothes for their kids. But what this is doing now, especially with all of the shortages that are coming, and even mainstream media, as I'm sure you all are well aware, have come out and said that, this year is going to be really touch and go as far as getting the items that you want for Christmas gifts. So we already have a huge demand for a short supply, and now they're cutting out even more people by having this social credit scoring system on whether you can get that merchandise or not. So the people that can afford it can do this program at 10 to 30% interest, and the middle to low income people obviously probably are not going to be able to do that. It actually really does not make me super happy, because this, again, is buying into that whole social credit scoring system as they have in China. And, we're quickly heading to that. And if you don't see that, you really need to pay attention. There's already a population that can't go to restaurants or schools, sporting events, airports, gyms, right? There's already a population that can't do that. And now we're going to throw this in there as well. And, you can still go to Dollar Tree, you can go to Dollar General, although Dollar Tree now, they're not the dollar store, they're the $1.25, $1.50 store, right? But with a country that's already in massive loan and credit card debt, why would Walmart, well, I know why, this is rhetorical, why would Walmart decide to add to this instead of letting especially the low-income people pay a little bit at Christmas time instead of requiring loans with such a high percentage interest rate on them? This is a war, folks, that we are not going to win. Just kind of a side note, I don't know if you guys are aware that China has taken Huawei off of their blacklist of places to do business now, because the United States government is currently purchasing drones from China for U.S. military purposes. So, social credit scoring, the Defense Production Act, and the exclusion of Huawei and actually purchasing goods from them, it really tells us in a really clear picture who the dude in the White House is really in bed with. They're already taking away from all of us and giving it to illegal immigrants and people that just should not be here, but especially the ones that are surging across the border, and the unvetted Afghanistan people that they're bringing in to all of these areas. So they're taking away from us and they're giving to them. So in other words, the more that you have, the more that they're going to continue to take. So, you know, every family dreams of having, you know, the house with the white picket fence and good running vehicles and secure jobs. But the reality is they're making it really difficult. These bills that are being proposed right now, which thankfully there are Democrats who are standing up to us and saying this is insanity spending. If they get their way, if these super liberals get their way, our great-great-grandchildren are going to be in debt. They just keep taking away from us and giving it to these people. Why are our okay, I'm going to go on a rant here, so I apologize. Why aren't our veterans, our homeless veterans, getting all of this free stuff? Why aren't they getting the housing? Why aren't they getting the college? Why aren't they getting the free food? They put illegal immigrants coming across the southern border into Hilton hotels. And our veterans are sleeping on the street. This ticks me off. It makes me angry. They continue taking from the American people and they keep giving it away to people that don't belong here. It makes me mad. So, that being said, I apologize for my little rant, but it's truth. So, what can you do as a prepper with all of this? Well, live simply. Number one. That's absolute rule number one. Okay? I enjoy, as much as I'm sure many of you do, seeing my kids and my grandkids open up Christmas gifts Christmas morning. I don't need anything other than to see them, their faces filled with joy Christmas morning. And so you can make things that make them happy. You can get more of the smaller things and fewer of the larger things. But really what they remember is the time that you spent with them. 20 years from now, they're not going to remember what they did or didn't get. What they're going to remember is, the last Christmas that they had with Aunt Helen or, Grandma Sharon or whatever it is. That's what they're going to remember. So keep that in mind. Don't keep excess money in the bank. Y'all know that they are going to start, if it gets passed, they want to track money. I think it's above $900. So if you get a payday of, $1,600 biweekly, whatever, and you spend $600 or $900 on a gun and some ammo, they're going to track that. It's none of their business, but this is what they, excuse me, this is what they want to know. What are you doing with your money? And they want to know that because they want to make sure that you are paying your taxes. They want to make sure that they are sucking everything out of you that they possibly can. That's the whole purpose for this. But you can live simply. Don't keep that extra money in the bank. Keep just enough in there to pay your bills. Like if you have auto pay, take the rest out in cash and either turn it in for gold and silver or just keep it in cash. I'm not a big believer in Bitcoin, anything like that, because if the power grid goes down, you have nothing. It's worth nothing. Gold and silver, there's a lot of proponents of it. There's other people that say, yeah. I'm on the fence. I haven't done enough research to make up my mind on that. But regardless of what you do, take that extra money out of the bank. And then use that cash for anything that you can, because cash is untrackable. Okay? So if you take $30 to go buy some freedom seeds, they're not going to be able to track that, right? If you go stock up on some of your prepping items, they're not going to be able to track that. It makes you less of a target. Okay? So that's what I would do. So positive prepper, this is also where the positive comes in, sort of in the same vein. If you are living simply, without all these extravagant things, you can create or keep a genuine relationship with your family, your friends, and God, right? Get rid of all that extra stuff. When you die, and this hit really home to me a month ago, my uncle passed away. When you die, you don't get to take the newest iPhone with you to heaven. Okay? Your luxury vehicle doesn't get to go with you to heaven. I would rather leave the legacy of quality time with my friends and family and have that relationship with God so that I know where I'm going to be when I die. And the people that I will get to wait for with loving open arms when they get there as well. So it's time well spent when you live simply. And then the other reason for getting rid of all of those extras is you want to be a gray person in a red and blue country. We are very divided. Y'all know that. We have the R's versus the D's. We have the no jabs versus the jabs. We have the maskers versus the no masks. We have the race issue. We have the religion issue. We have the value of life issue. We have a lot of things separating us. Try to stay gray in your living. I recently have been put in Facebook jail. Apparently they didn't like something I posted, but then I'm not a quiet person or I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. But that being said, as you live your daily life, live as a gray person. It doesn't mean that you can't stand up for what you believe in. It's not what I'm saying. Because if you don't stand up, it's all going to fall down, right? But in any area of your life that you can, try to stay gray. Minimize the risk of being a target by those who want to take everything, and live as a beacon where God provides everything. So you don't want to put yourself out there as, a huge prepper and you have all of this stuff. You don't want to be that kind of a target. What you want to be is a beacon of God where He provides everything for you. So that's the positive part. Just live simply. You know, continue working on your preps. We're going to need them more than ever, I think, in the coming months. One of my issues with the prepping community, and there's a lot of them that I adore, believe me, but, you know, they will say things like, well, we know this is coming, or we always prepare for the worst and hope for the best. That's why I didn't say that, yes, something will happen on September 11th. I can't say for sure that something's going to happen, that we're going to have that economic collapse. Although from the looks of banks lately, which will be in one of my week's videos this week, it certainly looks like it could happen, and I would want to see all of you prepared. So, be a beacon. I hope you all have a blessed night. God bless.